Good morning. I think today is going to be Monday, even though it's Tuesday, because we've had a bank holiday, which always throws me into a spin. We're a light bulb down. One's working there, but the other one's gone out. It reminds me of Rachel Reeves, one light bulb short of a pair. So I did a video yesterday on the insanity of our economy, the insanity of the way that we work out how we want to grow our economy. And I say we want to grow our economy. I mean, my grass is growing faster than the economy. It is not growing, it is flatlining. And when you break it down, it's really clear. I mean, I don't care what qualifications Rachel Reeves does or doesn't have. What she doesn't have is a grasp of what's happening in the world today. So we call it the cost of living, but it's gone from the cost of living to the cost of existence. And that's what it is for families. It's existing. It's being able to get through the month without flatlining. And for so many people who write comments on my pages that I read, they're like, well, it's payday on Friday and it's gone by the following Thursday because we've spent it all on mortgage or rent or food or bills. And for those that have got children, or the children's activities, which before somebody starts saying, oh, well, they shouldn't be doing them. We're talking basic activities, but so many of those are now subjected to VAT because they're happening on the premises of independent schools. So even though the children don't go to the independent school, if their swimming lessons are held there, they're now paying 20% more. I mean, swimming is a life skill. It's a necessity. Do we want our children to learn to swim so that they don't drown? I mean, I absolutely understand that the chances of them going on holiday are looking less and less because no one's got any money. But nonetheless, should we not be teaching our children to swim? Or are we going to go back to the days when my granddad got taught to swim by being pushed in the Thames? Really? I really would hope not. So we've had lots of comments. Excuse me, by the way, the cold has started, or it's hay fever, and the cat's joined in. Lots of comments on all of this. And my maths yesterday was right. So I was nervous about sharing that because I'm not very good at maths. And well, I'm okay at it, but figures scare me. But I looked at it and I thought, surely this is obvious. Surely this can't be just me that sees this. And it's not. Turns out I was right. So let's go through it again just quite quickly. I was comparing Rachel Reeves' intentions. So that was the bit that was probably more important. She said she wants to promote growth. So for the British film industry to do that, she has cut their business rates. So by doing that, she says there's going to be growth in the film industry. Now, the film industry, she's taken 40% off their business rates, I should say. So the film industry employs 86,000 people and it creates £12.6 billion. Now, that's a meaty industry and one that we should celebrate. It brought us Love Actually. Anything Hugh Grant, I mean, I'll have it. And Paddington, oh, I love Paddington. But we've got 12.6 billion coming into this country from the film industry. So that's a good thing. I support that. I say, yes, let's support the film industry. But then we look at the independent sector, and I'll find out the figures on nurseries as well, because this will be big. But in the independent education sector, the revenue is 16 billion. Let me just find exactly what it is because I did write it down. 16.5 billion. And they have created 328,000 jobs. So we've got 16.5 billion in the education sector versus 12.6 in the film industry. We've got 328,000 jobs in the independent sector versus 86,000 jobs in the film industry. We generate in tax revenue 5.1 billion from the independent sector. Now, that's about to be wiped out because we've added VAT onto that. And we've also added the national insurance, which everybody's having to suffer the burden of. But there is no money for the independent sector to pay for that. So people are being laid off. So out of those 328,000, we're having people laid off. We're having teacher contracts not renewed. We're having ground staff contracts not renewed. We're getting rid of pastoral care in schools. We're cutting costs because there's no money, because the amount of children that were in those schools are now moving into the state system because their parents can't afford the 20% VAT. But in the film industry, we're giving them 40% business rates relief. So we're promoting a smaller industry for growth, which is, we all love a film, but we don't all need a film, some people might say. But we need education, yet we are taxing it into obscurity. And this is an industry that brings in a massive amount of money. So we're 6 billion over. Actually, we're not. That's why I hate maths. We're 4 billion over. So the education sector earns £4 billion more than the film industry. And then we look at vaping. So this is what upset a lot of people. So there's a flat rate, £2.2, £2.20, going on vaping in October 2026. It was bought in at the last budget. So at the same time that it was announced that we were going to have VAT on education, instantly in January, even though they'd said it was going to be this September, they bought it in earlier, and that will affect 600,000 people. Even though it was at the same time with vaping, they said you can have until October 2026 to adjust to the change. So you can adjust to the change of £2.20 on your vape, but you can't, as a family, adjust to the change of 20% on your school fees. And if we look at the vaping industry, that is costing us. So what it's bringing in, I mean, of course, it does make some revenue. So the vaping industry creates, where did I get that? 4.1 billion. So we're not in the same category as the 12.6 billion of the film. Oh, it's 12.6 billion. You see, I read that without my glasses on. I was right with my numbers. So the film industry is 12.6 billion. Private schools is 16.5 billion. Vaping is the least revenue raiser at 4.1 billion. And it costs the NHS 132 million pounds annually. Smoking in itself, and I know smoking and vaping are different, but smoking costs 12.6 billion. And there's been a 237% rise in vaping hospitalisations. So this is what we're doing our maths on. This is what we're doing our economy chats on. This is what Rachel Reeves is doing. She's not looking at how to make money. She's looking at how to punish people. Her incentive isn't let's grow the economy. Her incentive is let's see who we can hurt the hardest. And of course, that's you and me. Because even if you don't send your child to the independent sector, you will still in some way be touched by it, because if you have a child in the state sector, that means that your child's not fighting for attention and resources from that other child coming in. Or you might work for the independent sector. You might live in a town where there's an independent school, which will be the biggest employer in your town. So in some way, whether you agree with it or not, it will affect us economically. And yet here we are punishing a group of educators because we don't agree with them ideologically. And we're punishing an industry which makes more than the film industry, who we're giving 40% business rates relief to. Now I ask you, whether you agree with this or not, have a look at the mindset of the person behind these decisions. This is not somebody who wants growth. This is somebody who wants to curtail growth and have it all her own way, state way, Labour's way, not anyone else's, just state's way, just Labour's way. And you can't dress that up. And if I've worked that out and it's right, why isn't somebody in Rachel Reeves' office advising her and saying, excuse me, Rach, that was a big oof. You got that really, really wrong. I mean, I reckon the kids in primary school could work this one out. It's simple adding and subtracting. It's looking at the figures. You don't even need to do anything fancy with them. Just look at them and interpret them, read them. It's there for anyone to see. And that's the morals of this country. That's what our country is working towards. It is not growth. And it's at our destruction. And it brings me all back to the original point. It's not the cost of living anymore. It's the cost of existence. On that cheery note, I'll leave you with Stanley. Say hello. Stanley is nearly 22 and he's been outside 3 times this spring, which says to me, Stanley has got another year in him, because I always say if he goes out in the spring, he's got a summer. Hello, big boy. Hello.